Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Liam's Hockey. Brought to you, of course, by Hosie and Brown Automotive. And, man, sorry for the delay. They seem to be coming further and further apart, but a little hectic on the home front with my mother moving in with me. And 90 years old. So my other roommate, Ollie, of course. So we're quite the group. But I can tell you that pretty much every night we're watching hockey together, and so she knows. My mom has known Ollie for 40 years, and there's no problem there. So, but it's been hectic behind the scenes, doing a lot of the little things that you got to do day to day to make this sort of whole thing happen here on the home front. So, I have been doing pretty much everybody else's Zooms and podcasts. So. It's about time that I got back on the horse here at Liam's Hockey, especially with the playoffs underway. Now, for you astute viewers, you will recognize that my little mini liquor cabinet in here behind me is growing exponentially. In fact, I can't even get the bottle of rum in that my dear friend Rock Villeneuve has just most recently brought over for my mother as a little gift, because my mom likes to have a little shot at night before she hits the sack. So can't even fit it in, but I have got this beautiful Signal Hill Canadian whiskey. I'll tell you, man, that's for courtesy of John Poirier. Now, I'll talk about it further at another time, but I also got this one recently as well. This is Dunrobin Canadian whiskey. Now, I'm gonna start off the show actually giving these guys a plug. They're friends of mine, Adrian and Jonathan. Listen, the Ottawa area has got dozens of craft breweries, craft beer breweries. I don't know how many, probably more than 24, and many of them are supported extremely well, which is fantastic. But the only distillery in our area, in the region of Ottawa-Carleton, the Valley and the Rurals, is in Dunrobin Distilleries. And they make vodka and gin, whiskey, and they're online. They've got a great website, dunrobindistilleries.com, I believe it is. And, of course, you can't get into their showroom in their area right now to go and purchase because of COVID, but you can take a look at what they got online. I'm really proud to say I know these guys, and what they're doing has the only local distillery trying to get a footprint going and get up and running in our area. And they sent me this bottle, which I'm going to do a shot of right now. Now, normally I would never do that till later in the show. But because I can do whatever the hell I damn well want, and I love to drink, I'm going to do a shot right now. But listen, they have their own organic farm. They are dealing with local farmers and cultivating the best crops to make their product. They have farmers that are already basically in tune, growing with the specifications that are necessary for them to make this alcohol that they are. Now, I'm not a big whiskey guy. I'm not. I'm a beer guy, and I drink my Jamesons. I like my Jamesons. That's just a personal preference. My late father, when I got on at Jamesons, and really now there are so many different kinds of Jamesons. I just have the regular here, and I usually do a shot at the end of the show. And I probably will. I don't have too many shots here during the show, because I'm going to talk a little bit of hockey here, talk about the playoffs. But I am going to do a shot right now for these lads. And first of all, I've never tasted it, so I guess I may as well give her a go here, and there's no time like the present, I should say. It is a present. Do a little shot, and always comes out quicker than anticipated. But again, Dunrobin Canadian whiskey, local distillery in the region of Ottawa-Carleton, Hardcore Valley in Dunrobin. If you know the area, it's a beautiful, beautiful area in the west end of the city of Ottawa. If you go out, really just past Carp, go Stittsville, keep going. And if you're heading north, out past Old Highway 7, past Carp, go down there, Dunrobin. You can't miss the signs. If you're familiar with Eagle Creek Golf Course, you're in and around the Dunrobin area right there. So it's beautiful, beautiful country there. And guys, I can't thank you enough for sending me this. I'll properly adorn it there over my left shoulder and for a while, and we'll give her a shot. So to Jonathan and to Adrian, good luck, fellas, and well, it smells good. Let's give her a little go here. Now, I probably shouldn't be shooting these, but it's because of what I do right now, so I will shoot this one, but maybe another time I'll sip on one, get a better taste of it all. But wow, that is really good. I'm not kidding you. That is really, really, really smooth. No, that was really good. I didn't know what to expect, but that is really good. I wholeheartedly encourage you to give it a try. That was fantastic, actually. Dunrobin Canadian whiskey, right here in the heart of the valley almost. Not quite the heart. Got to go up a little bit further up Highway 17 for the heart. But I'll tell you what, Dunrobin is a beautiful area. That's Lunny country. Yeah, you're down there, lots of Lunnies in and around the Dunrobin area, and amongst many other families as well. So there you go. Little shout out. Told the boys I would do that for them. Happy to do it. Give them a look at online at dunrobindistilleries.com. Check the website out. They've got some other brands and some other alcohols, and could be something there that you'd like, and you could order online. Give it a try yourself. Okay. We will have a garage that we'll be featuring a little bit later. My Car, used car sales in Ottawa. They are by far the biggest. I think as good or better than anybody. I'll be talking about them here as we wrap things up and squeeze out another shot for Ad Seal Services and my dear friend Mark Cullen. All that in just a few minutes' time. Playoffs underfoot. When I last talked to you, the Tom Wilson suspension was just coming in. We were wrapping up the regular season. I wrote about that, got quite a bit of traction. And that got, he's scoring, of course. He's already scored. He scored the first goal, you can believe it, of the game against the Bruins. Haven't the first games been spectacular? I mean, my goodness, that Tampa-Florida game, to think that was game one in that series, let alone the others. Minnesota-Vegas was an incredible goaltending display. Pittsburgh and the Islanders, maybe the goaltending not quite as good, but no less dramatic. You've got games going to overtime. It's crazy. So it's been, and now we're into it, right? Now it's basically every night full throttle here, and let's get it on with the Canadian team starting in just a couple days. Edmonton, Winnipeg going Wednesday, Montreal, Toronto Thursday, and then they'll be spinning their wheels like crazy. So here we go, and it's on. So really just got to make some predictions. I went on NHL.com. My son's in a little group. He asked me to join and throw out some predictions. I don't think I'll change any, even though some of the ones I've picked are already down one, and some I've picked are up one. I mean, it's early in the series. They don't really indicate too much in that sense. But just to get into it here a little bit, and I'll finish with the Canadian teams. I did pick Washington over Boston. Now, they've already lost their goaltender, who is supposed to be their starter. And Craig Anderson, at the age of 90, is now in net. And for him to come in and play like he did in Game 1, absolutely phenomenal. I'll tell you what, I've tipped my hat to that guy I don't know how many times, especially during his tenure here in Ottawa, where he was from very good to spectacular, it seemed like the overwhelming majority of the time. Now, he's starting tonight, and I think his bubble burst tonight. I think the Bruins... you're not holding that team back. They couldn't really gain any traction, get even shots on net as that game progressed. The perfection line is going to break out. I give Washington a lot of credit. I have picked them to win the series. I think overall they're a better team, player 1 to player 18. Now, goaltending play a huge role in that. Rask gets hot here, and like we're all expecting, and the Bruins score like we're all expecting. There's no reason why this series isn't going to go deep. I picked it 7 games, to be honest, so someone's got to win Game 1, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But this could be a game changer already with Anderson having to come in. How much of the load is he going to have to carry? And we'll see how that progresses. I don't think they can win the series with Craig Anderson as their starter. I did pick them to win, but not with him. So we'll see what happens. That's how I called that one. Pittsburgh Islanders, I called the Penguins to win it. I think they got a little bit let down in their goaltending. He made some unbelievable saves. Anybody who watched it saw he seemed to have trouble up high in the glove side. This little square, you call it up here. I mean, normally you'd say high glove, but I guess technically it is high glove, but it was like glove goes here, and this hole here was where the puck was going. So he got beat on a couple there that I think most goaltenders, himself included, would like it back, and most, I think, would stop, most of the better ones anyway. And he made some ridiculous saves, really, to preserve them an opportunity, and certainly every bit gave them, you would say, necessarily because they scored enough to win, other than they didn't get the last one. But and even on even I mean, you know, Paul Mary's 2 goals, scores 2 goals for them. He scored 2 since they picked him up at the trade deadline, and now he gets 2 in the one game, including the winner. It was a rolling puck. He shoots it again, top corner, but that one there, I mean, drop a bucket of pucks and maybe you shoot 2 of those in. Penguins played well enough, probably deserved a better fate. They were by far, in my opinion, the better team, and I do think they will win this series. However, if show me a great goaltender, and I'll show you a great coach. Show me a great coach, and likely he has a great goaltender behind him. That's one of the oldest adages in hockey, so we'll see. But I did pick Pittsburgh to win. Carolina gets going tonight against Nashville. I think that one's over relatively quick. I actually got Carolina winning the division, and so I think they will dispatch Nashville relatively easily. I called Florida to win against Tampa. I made that pick. I could have gone back in, I guess. I think I had on NHL.com, I had the chance before they dropped the puck with Boston, Washington to make changes because they had announced at that point that Kucherov and Stamkos were going to play. All this angst about Kucherov. Look we all know the rules. It doesn't stop anybody else from breaking it, and other teams are over as well. I mean, so there's no salary cap come playoff time. Are you really pissed off about that? I'm not. Like, load it up. Take your best shot, whatever you got. If you can get there and get in the postseason, and then like Tampa has done, like let's say hypothetically under normal circumstances, Kucherov could have played down the stretch, maybe a week, 2, 3, who knows? Let's say he could have. Did they need him? Well, I don't think they really give a flying F where they finished in the standings. Just make the dance. What's really home ice without the full buildings anyway? Even though it was loud and the American teams are getting a percentage of fans, I just don't think they're the defending Stanley Cup champs. I'd say, okay, you got to go play 7 games in Mars. Take the shuttle. We'll see you next month. They'd go and probably win. But that power play was absolutely devastating. I mean, and Stamkos was firing blanks yesterday. Wait till he gets his timing back. I don't know, Kucherov didn't miss a beat. Other than that breakaway he had early on, and he fumbled that the rest of the game, and he's into it physically. He took a penalty in the first period. He's in the scrums. Don't forget a couple years ago against when they lost that shocker to Columbus 4 straight, he got suspended after game 3. Like, this is a guy, you can almost maybe get after him a little bit. He's fractious. He loves to play on the edge and get involved physically. But he was just a bomb yesterday. And Braden Point, what more can you say? I wrote earlier this year on Twitter, does your team Canada, if we go to the Olympics in 2022, does it include Braden Point? I don't know how you keep the guy off right now. I mean, you got to make your list. It's so freaking tough because I've been making a couple lists, and we'll do that after the playoffs are over. I'll tell you what, man. I was really worried about our D at one point. I don't want to digress down that road, but I'm not. We are looking really strong. If we have everybody all hands on deck, you start looking at guys like Huberdeau and how well he played for Florida. He's an automatic, I think, for Team Canada too. I don't know how you keep Braden Point off, and I don't even have Stamkos on the team right now. Let alone if he gets his legs back under him, what are you going to do? So Tampa beats Florida. They score late. I called Florida to win that one. Not going to be a hypocrite here. I'll stick with it, but I mean, how are they going to beat Tampa 4 out of the next 6 games? See, this is what happens. So I put so much pressure on not losing 2 if you're playing, in this case, the defending Stanley Cup champions. Tough enough if it was anybody else. Like, that's good, but it happens to be the defending Cup champs. And I'll tell you what, though, they're a little susceptible. You got some guys I don't think are 100%. Hedman being one. But Sergachev played really well. Probably one of the better games I've seen him play this year, and I watched Tampa a lot this year. I thought he played really well. And Kucherov, obviously. Braden Point, and their power play. It's sick. It's just sick. So we'll see. I still think that's going to be a long series too. I called Florida. Yes, it was before I really knew Kucherov and Stamkos were 100% confirmed. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I called the Panthers to win. We'll see what happens. I called Carolina to win the division. But, so here's the thing about the Hurricanes. They're a better team this year than they were last. But they've got a lot of the same issues in that what happens when the going gets tough? Like you saw that series yesterday, Tampa, Florida, how physical that was. And like Carolina are not built for that. They didn't get run out of the rink physically by Boston last year, but they got manhandled. They really pose no threat physically. They've got so many nice pieces. On defense, their defense is outstanding. I mean, Slavin, these guys, Pesci, go down the line. Dougie Hamilton, you're talking about guys maybe going to get a sniff on Team Canada. How do you not at least take a look at him? He would not be on anybody's radar probably a couple years ago, and now he's having career years here. He just loves it. He looks like so comfortable in Carolina. Their goaltending, they've got as good a tandem as anybody. They're right there with Vegas, as far as I'm concerned. Carolina's goaltending. And certainly they got the scoring. I called them to win the division. Now, again, before I knew Kucherov and Stamkos were playing, but I thought even if Florida wins and they tried to run roughshod with them, that I think Carolina has the horses to be able to handle that against Florida. I don't have Carolina picked to win the Stanley Cup because I think when they run into who I picked coming out of the other division, which is the Vegas Golden Knights, who lost game one also, get there in a second, that I thought that Carolina would have enough. I still do. I'll stand by that, so I'll stick to that, and we'll see how it plays out. But they get going tonight. Colorado, St. Louis gets going tonight. I know Ryan O'Reilly has pulled a little Mark Messier here, a little Joe Namath from 69. He's calling a win. He's calling a St. Louis series win. You got to love him. Conn Smythe Trophy winner a couple years ago. There's another guy, Team Canada. How do you keep him off the team? I mean, I'm telling you. Go ahead, make your own list of 12 forwards and see just how freaking difficult it's going to be. That's if we even go. But anyway, that's very nice that he did that. Now, McKinnon's been in and out, right, health-wise, injury-wise. He's listed as playing, as I understand it, I think game one. So, not to say they can't win without him. They are so deep and so strong. And they've actually... There's the other thing, Grubauer in net there. Like, this is a big, big step for him. He played behind Holtby in 2018. So you think there's a guy maybe getting an idea what it's all about. Like, no action, essentially, but would have been practicing, would have picked up the atmosphere, would have picked up some things, had a great season in Colorado. But that's a lot of pressure on him here to step up because Colorado's been mostly the sexy favorite from the start of the season, right? So this will be very interesting to win the Stanley Cup. So this will be very interesting to see. I've got them beating St. Louis. I've got Vegas beating Minnesota. And I got Vegas beating Colorado in the next round. Now, you know, we'll see how it all plays out injury-wise. I reserve the right to change that. But I'll tell you right now, that's the way I've got it called. And I think I called Pittsburgh over the Islanders. I called Washington over the Bruins. And I called the Penguins over the Capitals. And I called Carolina, as you know, and I called Florida, and I called Carolina to win that division. I guess that's it. There's none left. Montreal, Toronto. You know, I did my friend Mike Richards' show on Saga 960, Dave Bastel. Great guys, did their show this morning and said what I think, that the Leafs really should win this series. There's, as I said on their show, there's no metric that on paper you would say the Canadians should win this series. They're in the playoffs with the least amount of points. Now, you got to grade it accordingly, right? Carey, hurt again. Brendan Gallagher, hurt again. Hand injury again. Both missed a ton of time. If they both play, do they have more than 59 points? I mean, they made the playoffs anyway, right? But do they have more than 59 points? Yeah, they do. Give them what? 63? 65? Do they have 10 more points? That's probably a push. I'd say 6 to 8. 6 to 8 more points. So they're 65 to 68. Still very, very, very average season at best. Now they're the X factor. So they're playing. Like, I'm taping this right now, and these guys are playing tonight in Laval against the Toronto Marlies. Talk about bizarre. You've got regular season games still being played. Calgary and Vancouver going right through the week here, aren't they? I think they're going right to Wednesday anyway. And you've got 4 playoff games in the book. And you've got Montreal Canadiens sending Carey Price and Brendan Gallagher to Laval for conditioning. Long-term injury reserve conditioning, which they're allowed to do under the CBA. So Carey Price is supposed to play half the game. And Brendan Gallagher is playing on a line with, among others, Dale Weiss. At least he's got experience with the guy from the NHL. But, oh, my God. Would I have done it if I was Marc Bergevin? No. I wouldn't have. I would have been okay with Carey going down and taking half a game. I mean, it's right there. So there's no worries about travel or whatever. You're going to take some shots. You're playing the Marlies. They, as I understand it, just sent Scott Sabourin down, I think, to play tonight. That's a little bit of a concern because he's a rabble-rouser, good guy. Met him a couple years ago. I'm a fan of how he plays the game. He's truculent, as Brian Burke likes to say. So he could start some crap tonight. And Laval's been super strong all year. And even when they lost Cole Caulfield, come up to the Habs, which I'll touch on in just a second. And anyway, I don't like it that they're there. I'll be very, very happy once the game is over and there's been no incidents. And you also raise a little bit of concern is what happens on the ice, like if there's any, not so much incidents, but you're just worried about a myriad of things that could potentially go wrong. I wouldn't have done it. I give Bergevin a lot of credit. Nobody saw it coming. I was actually on Twitter when the Montreal Canadiens posted it. You know, I saw it right away. It was like a 12-second later post, and of course it went like wildfire around Twitterverse, and that they were doing this. It's unheard of, and absolutely blown away by it. I would not have done it, and obviously as a Habs fan, just hoping that there's no incidents. Good on them, I guess. I understand why they're doing it. I wouldn't have, so we'll see how it plays out. That said, here we go. We start Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday. That's first 4 games real quick here. Montreal, Toronto, opening in Toronto. As I said, there's nothing to suggest that Montreal should win this series. And they're not right now, it looks like, even going to start Cole Caulfield in the first game. I don't have the words, but I have to try and say them here, otherwise it's dead air. But I don't understand what I'm missing. As a guy who's my age, watched the games every second of every Montreal game, just about my entire adult life for sure, and many before, I am absolutely blown away that there is any mindset at all behind closed doors that Montreal is icing their best lineup without Cole Caulfield. Guy's played 10 games. He's got 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. He's fanned on about 4 or 5 shots because he's so anxious out there. His shots, his offense that's been created with his speed, his puck handling, his vision, obviously his shot. I mean, you don't have to be an Einstein or hockey superstar here, expert, to watch this guy play and see that he doesn't have it. I mean, he clearly does. You can see why he's scored at every level he's at. I mean, if he's not the Brinkat 2.0, he's going to be Montreal's next 50 goal scorer. I mean, he's got, I think, 30 to 40 in him for fun. This little pace he was on coming at the end of the season here was a 30-goal-plus pace. And these were his first few games in the NHL. And they played him with something like 7 or 8 different line combinations. The last couple games they had him with Suzuki. And you gotta grade it accordingly. I get that. It's not like he's going in there against Tampa or Colorado. But having said that, you could see the instant karma, the instant chemistry with the two of them. just two burgeoning stars on the Canadians already. Suzuki, we've already known for a little bit, but instant chemistry. Now, Montreal wants to go back to essentially was their opening night lineup with the exception of Stahl in for Kotkaniemi. And I got no problem with them sitting him. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that kid down the road, and that's a whole other story. I mean, at this point right now, he's fast-tracking to failure because of the way they've handled him. And there's still people who are mystically and you know, just waxing nostalgic, going, oh, no, it's okay. Like, he's going to be okay. And remember, like, you know, remember that great play? He had that great game against Edmonton, and remember that goal? I mean, look, right now, where he was drafted, he's a failure. And he is showing such a lack of confidence on the ice right now. I got no problem with them having him sit, get into the playoffs here, if they can hang around in the series, maybe get him into a game or two, we'll see how it plays out. The total opposite of that is Cole Caulfield. 180-degree opposite is Cole Caulfield. How you don't find room for him, tell you exactly what you do. You take Stahl out. You move Evans up to that line. You put Caulfield in with Suzuki on the right side. You move Armia down to play on the fourth line with Paul Byron at center. And Lehkonen on the left side on his off wing. What difference does it make where you play Lehkonen? He skates all over the ice anyway. I mean, he's basically your first or second unit penalty kill, and he takes a regular shift on the fourth line. I mean, you're giving the guy 12 minutes, 13 minutes a night. Does it really matter if he's on the left side? You're not playing the 77 Habs here. You're playing the Leafs, who haven't won a playoff round in 17 years. So, you know, you don't have room for Cole Caulfield. You are a failure as a coaching staff. And I'm saying that. My God, my dear friend Luke Richardson is there. Anytime I talk to Luke, he says, Liam, I coach the defense. Hello? You can't tell me. I've known Luke for 46 years. There's no freaking way he's sitting in the room saying it's a good idea to sit Caulfield. There's no way. What the hell is Ducharme doing? Now, there was some chatter on Twitter that perhaps Stahl's contract has some sort of provision or rider in it that he waived his no move to come to Montreal because they would have to play him if they made the playoffs. I guess it's possible it could be there. He's got 3 points, 2 goals since he's come to Montreal. He looks woefully out of place physically. Had a couple chances the last few games. These last few games, I mean, they meant a lot to Montreal. They needed a couple points because the last thing you wanted, Calgary and Vancouver, like they were going to eliminate each other. They both had technically mathematical chances, one of them. But so Montreal needed to secure that, and they did. Stahl played. Listen, kudos to his career. And Montreal gave up a couple picks to get him. That's fine. They still have 12 picks this year, including in every round. Not as concerned about that, so you may have missed on that regard. But where the idiocy is existing right now to play him is absolutely mind-boggling to me. If Cole Caulfield does not start Thursday night, I will not have seen a worse decision in all my years as a Montreal Canadian fan. I cannot think of anything that would be a worse decision in terms of lineup. You know, the Patrick Waugh trade will rank number 1 for sure of all time. One of the worst trades in NHL history. But in terms of personnel that you're putting on the ice, you don't put Caulfield in. Look, he's not coming in there like Gretzky here to save the day or something, score a point a game and all this out. But his confidence is brimming right now. The guy has got tremendous speed. It's probably the one thing that I wasn't expecting, even though I watched him in the World Juniors. I watched Wisconsin play a pile of games. Everyone that was televised on TV I was watching. Didn't really get a sense of his speed in those games. I don't know why. Maybe the configuration of how they were just really just geared on getting him the puck as often as possible. And he almost brought them back. I mean, he almost snatched victory from the jaws of defeat there in that last playoff game when they got beat out in the quarters, I guess it was, in the NCAA playoffs. And I think he scored 2 goals in third period. Anyway, I was really surprised at how fast he's looked on the ice here for the Habs. Among everything else that he's doing really well. Man, you got like half dozen guys on Montreal don't even have 4 goals. And they've played almost the whole year. This guy's got 4 goals in 10 games. Easily could have been 6 or 7. Easily. Anyway, I think Toronto wins that series. I think Edmonton beats Winnipeg. And I got Toronto beating Edmonton at this point right now. This should be the best opportunity for the Leafs to make some noise. And it will be a fever pitch in Toronto, I'll tell you what. And they'll come crashing back to earth when they lose in the semis. But it's going to be something else. It's going to be something else. So those are my playoff predictions. We'll leave everything else for another time. I still got my, you know what? I'm going to have another shot of that Dunrobin. I'm not kidding you. That was really good. And just to give them another little shout out here again, I'll save that for the end here because now it's time to do, that'll be courtesy of AdSeal Services, but now it's the time to talk about my car, used auto sales. Now for those of you familiar with the My Car operation, if you go back far enough, the face of it or the person of it was hold on a second here now. I don't have my it was Ryan O'Connor. Now Ryan was one of the top boxers, amateur boxers in Ottawa, a dear friend of mine, and I know there were several guys involved, but initially Ryan was the guy that certainly that I knew of that kind of started these operations, because there's 4 locations. They've got Ottawa, which is located in Richmond, the town of Richmond, 6104 Perth Avenue. Perth Avenue is the main street, runs right down Richmond. And they've got Cornwall, and they've got Kingston, they've got North Bay. So Ryan was initially involved, and then shortly after, actually pretty much around the time I knew Ryan was involved and I was going in there, and I've gotten vehicles from there. They have helped me out so many times, but Brad Bohm was working there, and I didn't know at that time that Brad had ascended up to fairly significant level, basically chief cook and bottle washer, or one of them, for the My Car used car operation. And here's I'll get to Brad in a second. So My Car are one of the clients of Hosie and Brown Automotive, and so we're here to talk about their garage. They take care of vehicles. But what are they known for? I mean, look at it. There isn't anybody within hundreds of square miles, any business, that has more inventory, used car inventory, than My Car. If you are looking to purchase a used vehicle and you don't go on their websites for their respective areas, wherever you may live, and we're promoting Richmond's today primarily, but as I said, they've got 3 other locations. This is a global show. If you're purchasing a used car, you've got to check them out. On any given day, they've got 500 vehicles. On any given day. There's nobody with more inventory, every single solitary type of thing. Not only that, go and tell them what you want. They're at the auctions all the time. They'll tell you if they can get it. If you don't see what you like, at least have a conversation with them. Their prices are fantastic. They're as good or better than anybody selling used vehicles anywhere in the entire region of Ottawa, Carleton, as I said, through the Eastern Seaboard right now, as far as I'm concerned. You don't think so? Go on their websites and check it out. 6104 Perth Avenue is a Richmond location. They've got their used vehicles are basically run perpendicular to Perth Street, down the side street there. You don't know where that is. If you know the Richmond Arena, it's literally right kitty-cordy across the road, 40-degree angle, 45-degree angle, right across the road. You cannot miss it. And go in there and see the boys. Now, of course, COVID on, maybe phone ahead, not sure what all the regulations are. But if you're looking to buy a used vehicle, you need to check out their inventory and at least see what they have. They'll match or beat any price, and certainly they've got the variety that I believe supersedes anybody's that's out there. Now, in terms of their garage, and I had a great conversation with service manager Doug last week. They've got 8 bays. Now, you guys know when we've been doing these for Hosie and Brown, I like to, where possible, try and find the little thing maybe that makes them stand out, makes them a little bit different. They're full service, as are others. They'll do anything on your vehicle top to bottom. Safety, imagine, they've got to make sure these vehicles that are purchased or come in or whatever that might need any work, anything that might need a quick safety, something to get done before it goes to the lot or gets purchased or something, whatever. So they have to be on top of literally every single solitary thing. And what I loved when I talked to Doug was, this is really, really cool. He said that they upgrade their electronic equipment, their scanners. You know, today these cars are mini computers. They upgrade at my car every 6 months. They've got the top of the line. And he was telling me a couple of stories about some of the vehicles that have come in with air conditioning issues. And you can't drive today without air conditioning. Let's be honest. It's when we're getting the humidity in the middle of the summer. And some of them are extremely tricky, very complicated. And he says, absolutely no problems. He told me just in the last couple of weeks, he's worked on BMW, an Audi, and a Porsche. Just in the last couple of weeks at my car at 6104 Perth Avenue. So Doug's a great guy. Everybody that's on staff there is a fantastic person. I've met them all. Brad right now is my go-to guy. Ryan is sliding into other things. They've got they're very diversified, place, and they've got their finger in a lot of pies that are all automotive related. And I'm telling you right now, you want to look for a used car, you go to my car. You want to get service done, give them a shout. 8 bays, no waiting. They'll book you in, get them in. They can handle anything and everything, and certainly up to date on all the most top-of-line electronics that would be needed on any vehicle, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that really stands out, so I wanted to give Doug and my car a plug. And I'll finish by saying this. Most of you know I've written 4 books. My 4th one, The Real Ogie, came out 2 years ago. Plain and simple. There's no other way to put this other than straightforward. That book came out for one reason and one reason only. Oh, because Goldie sat down with you, Liam. No. That book came out because of Brad Bohm. Brad Bohm stepped up and put forth an investment in that project. And there will be a remuneration coming for that gentleman. And right now, I'll tell you what, he can smoke a golf ball too. I love the way he's got a natural draw. He comes over the top of that thing and he just rips the cover off it. And he is just a beautiful family. His son is working at Riverview Golf Club where we're both members. Great family guy, dear friend. Helped me get that book off the ground. I don't get it done without him, and what an operation they have. So I'll be toasting Brad on this right now as you wrap that up. Brad and my car, of course, under the umbrella of Hosie and Brown Automotive, so thanks to Rod. And this shot brought, as always, by Ad Seal Services. Now the second one here from the Dunrobin Distilleries in Dunrobin, Ontario. Beautiful little community, just nestled in the very, very sort of beginning of the Ottawa Valley as you go up 7 and 17 and into the respective communities heading outside to the west of the city of Ottawa. So check out DunrobinDistilleries.com, courtesy of Jonathan and Adrian. Thanks to Mark Cullen, Ad Seal Services. Big thanks to Rod Brown of Hosie and Brown. And a special thanks today to Brad Bohm, being the garage that we're honoring today, courtesy of Hosie. That's it. That's all for this edition of Liam's Hockey. We'll catch you in a few days here as the first round continues and Montreal-Toronto get it on. Should be some great action if yesterday and Saturday's was any indication. Enjoy the hostilities. G'day.